For the financial calculator, I'm going to make my instructions using a Texas Instruments BA2+. This calculator can be used for the CPA and the CFA exams. For our time value of money calculation, we will be concentrating on the third row mostly. So if we want to find out the future value of the $100 which we received at time period t equal to 0 at an interest rate of 5%, let's see how we can go about doing this. First, I'm going to turn on the calculator. Financial calculators usually have a tendency to store past values. So before we do any new calculations, we have to ensure that we remove any existing or previously recorded data if there might be. So to do so, I'm going to start by pressing the second FV, second clear. So that's second FV, second clear. So this erases any stored data. We are now ready to start our calculation. I'm going to go from the left to the right, but it's not necessary to go in a specific order. It just helps. So n is the number of time periods. In our question, n is equal to 3 because we have 3 years. So I'm going to start by hitting 3 and then n. So my calculator stores n equal to 3. Next, I'm going to look at I by Y, which is interest rate per year. So I have the 5% and therefore I'm going to use 5. The financial calculator just takes it as 5. You don't have to input 5% or 0.05, just 5. So I'm going to go in and say 5 and then I by Y. So I'm setting my I by Y, or the interest rate per year, equal to 5. The next value is the PV, or the present value. So I have a present value of $100. So I'm going to put in my $100 and then click on PV, essentially setting the PV, present value, to $100. The next tab is the PMT, or the regular annuity payments. Since we don't have any regular annuity payments, we just have a lump sum, this is going to be 0. So I'm going to put in 0 and PMT. Now I'm ready to calculate my FV. So I need to put in compute and FV. Once I've done so, the calculator calculates the future value to be equal to 115.76. So the future value of this $100 which I receive at time period t equal to 0 at 5% interest rate at the end of 3 years is 115.76. Notice the negative sign on the future value. The negative sign essentially indicates an outcome perspective. When the calculator calculates the time value of money, it's always going to assume an investment outcome show. So when we have a positive present value, it would give you a negative future value. If you have a negative present value, it would give you a positive future value. So our future value here is 115.76. Let's put in a negative 100 to see what the future value would be. So I'm going to start again, second FV, second clear, start on a clean slate, n equal to 3. So I put in 3 and then hit n, setting n equal to 3. I by Y equal to 5%, so 5 I by Y. The present value is $100 and I have a minus 100. Remember, I am using the minus plus here and not these function keys, and setting PV as a minus 100, 0 PMT, compute future value. At this point, receiving my future value as 115.76. The numbers are the same. It's only the sign which differs. The sign differs only because the calculator takes present value and future value as investment outcome perspective, meaning inflow and outflow of cash. So this tells me that if I'm going to invest $100, at the end of 3 years, I will receive 115.76 when interest rate is 5%. When you look at problems, when you've been given both present values as well as future values, make sure you input one of them as a negative number and the other as a positive number. And so the calculator will be able to pick the right values.